Good morning, everyone. My name is Abby, and today we are going to be talking about the houses in your birth chart. So you have two sides of your birth chart, the planet side and the house side. Planets, they're kind of the same thing, but not really. The houses are a little more descriptive of your life. The planets aren't so much. There are 12 houses total. Houses 1 through 6 deal with personal things, so how you are, and 7 through 12 deal with interpersonal things, so how you interact with the world and the things that are like outside of your personal life. It's like 12 Olympian gods and goddesses who all govern different aspects. As soon as one of them leaves or doesn't participate, they can't all work together. So every house is very important to who you are as a person. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the first 6 houses. So the first house is all about firsts. So it's about yourself, appearance, your body, your attitude, your identity, basically who you are. The second house is your material environment. So it's your money, your income, your routines, your values, habits, work ethics, all of that good stuff. Third house is communication, so thinking, social activity. It deals a little bit with your friends and like say your neighbors or classmates and things like that. Maybe your teammates if you're on a sports team or something like that. The fourth house is about your foundation, so it's very focused on the home, on your family and your emotions, basically your roots. The fifth house is all about love, so it's your self-expression. It's about creativity, fertility, joy. Where do you find joy in your life? And drama. Sixth house is about health and service, so about fitness and your physical nature, but all about how you like to serve in your community as well. So houses 7 through 12 are a little different. They don't really focus on your personal traits, they focus on things that you interact with. So house 7 is your relationship house, so all about marriage or dating life, equality. Is also on a bigger scale of say business partners or friendships, or pretty much anything that has to deal with a relationship of some sort. The 8th house, this is a little tricky. It focuses a lot on merged energy, so sex would be one thing, but it can also be like inheritance. So, money that you inherit from, say, a grandparent. It can also mean loans, taxes, and assets, so things you get from the bank. And it can also be your partner's resources. So what can your wife or husband or partner provide to you as well. 9th house is about your higher mind. It's about travel, cross-cultural relations. It also focuses on your inner ethics and your inner philosophy. It also deals with luck, risk, and adventure. Your 10th house is about your career. It's more of a male-centric house. So your career, your long-term goals, your structure, how you deal with being famous, things like that. The 11th house deals with the groups, so friend groups, social groups, your social awareness, but it can also deal with groups that you tend to interact with on, say, a humanitarian basis. So what organizations do you tend to donate money to or identify with? And the 12th house, to wrap it all up, is about endings. So it can deal with healing and closure and moving on from a time in your life. It can also mean old age and afterlife. A lot of people look at this house if they're dealing with some sort of ending in their life and figuring out how they need to deal best with it. So in the same way that the sun, moon, and rising are the big 3 of the planet side of your chart, the same goes for the houses side of your chart, but it deals more with 3 sections: angles, succedents, I think that's how you pronounce it, and cadent houses. So your angular houses are your first house, so beginnings, your 10th house, which is your career, your 7th house, which is your relationships, and your 4th house, which is your foundation. These are the houses that influence you the most in your makeup as a person. So these houses, that is an order of strength. So your first house is the most important one because it's about you. It's about who you are. Then the other 3 houses, decrease in strength, but they all are the strongest parts of your chart. The next highest are the 2nd house, 5th house, 8th house, and 11th house. They contribute to about 50% of who you are. They don't dominate your chart. They do tend to affect it at a mid-level. The cadent houses are the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th houses. So these are more of like the bystanders. They function probably about 25% power in your chart, and they're more of just outside influences. They don't really emphasize a lot in your chart. They're there and they do matter. They're just not as strong as the angular houses. So your rising sign, ascendant sign, is the most important sign in the houses part of your chart because it is the most prominent planet. It's the ruling planet of your chart. So let's say you were a Sagittarius ascendant. The ruling planet for Sagittarius is Jupiter. So all the characteristics that I talked about Jupiter last week, that's kind of how you tend to live your life. Or Pisces ascendant, it's ruled by Neptune, so you tend to live a very like Neptune-centric life. So basically with houses in your birth chart, you have to find a planet. So pick Mercury. Find out what sign it was in during your birth. And then the house is more of how is it manifesting in your life, if that makes sense. So the planets were more of describing how you are, and the houses are more of how is it affecting your life right now, if that makes sense. So that was a super short video on the houses. I can't really go into a lot of detail with it because it's more of a case-by-case basis. So I need to look at someone's birth chart and then I can really go into detail with everything. I hope that kind of helped you figure out, something about your birth chart at least. I will be taking donations below my description as usual. If you would like an in-depth reading in your star chart, I am open to that. You need to be able to provide your birth chart, or at least the day you were born and the time you were born and the place you were born, or even if it's just in the same time zone. So say you don't know where you were born, it was like somewhere in Delaware or something, you could give me like Eastern time zone and I would just pick, I don't know, DC or something. And it's close enough, you know. I will be doing in-depth star chart readings if you would like. If you have my Twitter, I'm linking my Twitter down in the description. Send me a DM on that. You can email my business email as well. But that is all for this week. I will hopefully be back on Sunday with a tarot card spread for next week. I hope you all are having a wonderful Leo season, and I will see you next week.